All right, another fun divisional battle here in the NFC South, one of the more exciting divisions in the NFL. Got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers coming off that slaughter, getting destroyed by the New Orleans Saints on Sunday night, and then facing off against the Carolina Panthers, coming in with their tail between their legs after losing to the Falcons on Thursday night. So both of these teams trying to turn things around. Disappointing performances in Week 9. One of these teams obviously going to end up with the upper hand at the end of the week. I think this will remain a pretty competitive game. I think the Buccaneers will end up being a little bit stronger coming out of the gate. There's just something about them playing the Saints. They do not have a good way of combating what the Saints have to offer, but I think they'll be able to handle the Panthers here. Coming into this game, we got a 50.5 point over-under, so Vegas is pretty excited about this one. I am too. Buccaneers favored to win this one by 5.5. Now, Buccaneers defense has been very strong against quarterbacks, running backs, receivers. They've been above average, but not quite as stout as you might assume. The numbers suggest that they're just above average. And over the last 5 weeks, they've actually allowed the fourth most points to tight ends. Not that it matters because there's no one on the Panthers that were starting in the tight end position, whereas the Panthers defense, as we kind of expected to happen at this point, started out pretty strong and slowly but surely are coming closer to the median across the board. In the last 5 weeks, allowing the 14th most points to quarterbacks, 16th to running backs, actually getting better in the running back column, but allowing more points to wide receivers and tight ends. Should be a good game for the Buccaneers offense here. Now, the real question keeps coming with the Buccaneers, and it still feels kind of like a dart throw every single week with who we're starting. This has kind of been Tom Brady's MO for his entire career. He picks and chooses his targets, and he is willing to spread the ball around. I do expect there to be a vengeful, angry Brady in this game, so I think there's going to be enough points scored on the Buccaneers side that you're going to be pretty comfortable starting most options. I think you can start Brady this week. I like Fournette better than Ronald Jones. He's seeing more of the touches over the last couple weeks, and he honestly just looks better at this point. I don't know if they will go back to Ronald Jones, but it seems like they've kind of moved on more towards Fournette at this point. Chris Godwin's still dealing with that finger injury, but he still looked pretty decent last week. Has another week to completely heal up from that. So I think Chris Godwin is going to be a good play. We did hear reports that Arians is wanting Antonio Brown on the field less. I'm not really sure what the reason for that is, because it wasn't like Antonio Brown looked terrible on Sunday night. Maybe a little rusty, but you got to give him a few weeks to knock off the rust. If you have a pivot play here and you can bench one of these guys, I think Brown would probably be the guy you'd want to bench at least for this week, especially after those reports, and then watch him go off for 40 points, because you can never really trust what Bruce Arians says. But I'm just uncomfortable starting Brown unless you absolutely have to. I think you can play Evans this week. Evans looked to be the leading receiver last week. It's probably going to vary from week to week. I'd probably say Godwin ends up being the better play here this week, but I think Evans will still be a top 36 receiver, thus in my start category. Gronkowski had a poor week last week, but everyone on the Bucs did. I think Gronk should bounce back here. I think he can still play the Buccaneers defense. Now on the Panthers side, obviously biggest story here is Christian McCaffrey injures his shoulder coming back from that high ankle sprain. Looked really solid last Sunday, but this shoulder injury is going to keep him out at least this week and potentially next week as well. If they're looking to keep him out beyond just pain management, he's going to have to miss, potentially 3, 4, or 5 weeks. If after 2 weeks, he should be able to come back and, just play with pain management if that's the route that they want to go. So you're going to have to monitor this situation. It's been incredibly frustrating. Obviously, every time Christian McCaffrey is on the field, he's at least produced for you. He's never really done the whole go into the game, injure himself in the first quarter, and leave you with like 4 points thing. So on the weeks where he has been injured, at least he still helped you win that week. But it's been incredibly frustrating for how much he's had to spend on the bench. Hopefully he can get healthy. Hopefully they let him heal up completely before they throw him back out there. And hopefully you picked up Mike Davis and did not drop him last week, because Mike Davis comes right back into the realm of the starters here for the Panthers. I know the Buccaneers' run defense has been decent. Mike Davis has evolved enough in the passing game that doesn't really concern me. Now, in terms of the receivers here, DJ Moore has been incredibly disappointing up to this point in the season. He's had a couple of really good games, and the last 2 weeks have been really bad. I think the Panthers are going to have to throw the ball a lot here to compete with the Buccaneers. So I like all these guys here. Curtis Samuel has been a upper echelon wide receiver 2 rather for the past couple weeks. Robby Anderson still seeing the majority of the targets. think you can play all these guys with confidence here, and hopefully you get a pretty good game out of all of them. Teddy Bridgewater is an okay start, not a great one. Hopefully you have a better pivot play than that. And that's pretty much it for start sets. I think the Buccaneers win this one pretty easily. I got them winning 31-21.